Gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm Killinger, and today we're back on our Neotec 8120 3120 Husqvarna clone chainsaw. That's a lot to say. Anyways, what I thought I would go over today, and this may help someone, this may not, I don't know, is we're going to swap this sprocket out for a 3/8 sprocket. So this saw came set up for a 404 pitch bar and chain, and with a little bit of research I was having a difficult time finding a bar I wanted that was 404. It's not as common as like a 3/8. So the workaround for that is to just swap out the sprocket, and then the world opens up for possibilities on bars. I mean, it's endless. So we'll go over that real quick in this video, and we'll put this new bar and chain on, and then in the next video, I promise, the next video you guys see after this one is this chainsaw cutting some wood. But let's go over how to change this sprocket real quick. It's not a very hard task, but some of you might not know how to do this. So let's get into it. Okay, bars and chains and 404 and 3/8 and 325 and 050, and these are all numbers and letters that pertain to bar and chains on chainsaws. And I know it can be confusing, but if you spend a little bit of time doing this stuff, you'll eventually get the hang of it. But essentially what's going on here is behind this clutch assembly is a sprocket, one of these sprockets. I actually picked up a 7-tooth and an 8-tooth, and you can change your chain speed by using one or the other, and I can't remember exactly which way it goes, but one is faster than the other. So it's not necessary all the time. I'm actually going to try probably both at some point, because I know one way or the other can rob you of power. So it's a balance. But anyways, that's way more complicated than what we need to talk about in this video. What we're focused on is behind this clutch. This is your clutch mechanism, is this sprocket. And in this sprocket are little grooves that drive your chain. So basically this is it's a gear. That's what it is. It's a gear. Take off your chain cover, and then we're going to have to remove the spark plug and install a piston stop. My goodness. We don't really need to take that off. And GK spark plug. Okay, in our kit was a bunch of tools. I went over that in the previous video, but the one we're after right now is this piston stop. This just screws in right where your spark plug was, and you really don't need to get this thing super tight. Just finger tight should be good enough. And then, which way is this engine spin? Yeah. I'm just going to pull the pull cord just a little bit until I feel the piston stopping on this plug. Last thing we need to do is take off this flywheel or clutch assembly. And it says right on here which direction is off, and this is clockwise. So normal bolts and nuts, anything threaded normally is righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, so you would turn it clockwise to tighten it, counterclockwise to loosen it. On this unit, it loosens when you turn it clockwise, and it tightens when you turn it counterclockwise. So you can use a ratchet sometimes with these. Gets a little tricky, but Just grab an impact if you have one. Spin that dude right off of there. Pull this piece out. And behind here is our sprocket. Behind that is our oiler mechanism and then seal, and this is our oil pump assembly. But what we're after right here is this. So we're going to take the 404 off. It says 404. Where's the camera? It says 404 7-pin. And we're going to put on our 3/8. Seven-pin. And it just simply slides right down in those grooves. This is really simple stuff, nothing to it. The wind's picking up out there. Okay, so to install this, you'll see there are 4 tabs on our clutch housing, and those tabs correspond with the tabs in our oil pump. That's what's going to drive our oil pump. So you have to kind of line those up, and it's more of a feel thing than anything, and it'll just kind of fall in place. You want to make sure that you're not forcing anything. This should be really easy to just slide in there. But while we're talking about this, I see this thing's poking out here. Inside here is your needle bearing. And it's not a bad idea to put some lube on these. I did lube this recently because I had this apart to see what was on there. But I'll go ahead and lube it again for video's sake. I just use this super lube. Put a little dab on there. Work it into the bearings. And technically that goes on the shaft. And then this goes around it. And that's a nice little package. So then all we have to do is take our clutch assembly and get it started on the threads. Make sure you're not forcing anything. This should be super easy to go on. I like to finger tight it. Give it a little whack with our impact, not crazy. That should be more than enough. That's it. That's all there is to replacing the sprocket on your chainsaw. And this applies to most Husqvarnas. Steel is a little different. I can't remember. I'd have to take one apart, but it's similar but different. But most Husqvarnas are like this. All right, so now I'm just going to reinstall my spark plug here. Take this plug stop out. Put that back in our toolkit. We're going to put our spare sprockets with our toolkit. That way we know where they are. And at some point, I'm probably going to put that 8-pin on here and see if there's any difference. Spark plug. Nice. All right, let's get this thing barred up finally. So I went to the Husky dealer and I picked up a nice Husqvarna X-Tough bar. This is just a standard issue bar. It was actually cheaper than the Oregon bar. So we'll put that on there. And then I picked up a X-Cut chain. This is 3/8 058 gauge, 115 drive links, 436-inch bar. I like this chain. I've used it in the past. It works pretty good. So these things are always a tangled mess, and the way I do it is just lay it flat, usually. Don't fight it. It wants to come unwound naturally. Just like magic. Okay, let's not put the chain on backwards. That will be embarrassing. Struggle bus. All right, guys, there you have it. We have our monster chainsaw barred up with a monster 36-inch bar. Changed over to 3/8. So, the only thing left to do is to cut some wood with this thing. So, next video you guys see on this unit will be me cutting wood, and I have a special tree in the back side of the property for this chainsaw. We're not going to cut little wood, we're going to cut some big wood just to because it's a big saw. And then eventually we will get to doing some milling. I don't know when I'll get to that, but we're going to mill with this machine. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.